W's and L's, the weekly recap show where we give a dub to the things that we like and the L's to the things that we don't. It's on you, brother.
All right, so let's get to our positivity first. There, this one's coming courtesy of Chillmonger, a longtime friend of the pod. Giving a shout out to Miss Bianca Belair, who just finished up the longest title run for a female title, a female champion in WWE history, I believe. Or wait, hold on. Maybe not history. Let me go back. I think he gave me a date. Sure dating back to 98, maybe I think he said.
That's must have been when the belt was started.
So then, yeah. I don't think they had a women's title belt before that, did they?
They only recently started taking women seriously in the WWE, so
cool. In WWE history, 420 days. The longest time holding a women's championship since 1988. Sorry. Since 88. So shout out to Bianca.
Yeah,
go black girl. Go black girl.
Diva championships were handed to whoever won the bra and panties match 20 years ago.
Or the mud wrestling contest or the fucking pajama fight.
You know,
pillow fight.
So they just recently started taking them seriously.
It used to be complete and utter trash. And I just, it's crazy that shit used to come on network television. You know what I'm saying?
Some of the wildest stuff, like Edge having sex with Lita.
Lita on stage! I was like, yo, what is happening right now?
You know what I mean? Like, just some of the craziest stuff.
I think Stone Cold pulled down Trish Stratus's pants and spacked her ass.
Sounds about right.
It was some
Vince
crazy shit.
Used to have everybody kiss his ass, literally, and was supposed to have her do it.
Oh, my God. Rikishi, the character of Rikishi. Oh, my goodness, dog. The 90s was a time. You had to be there. You had to be there.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Giving out an L to Miss Jamel Hill.
Oh, darn.
Womp, womp, womp. Man, those exclusive black creator deals with all of these companies did not seem to go so well for quite a few folks this week.
Is anyone surprised?
We talked about Patrice. We talked about Miss Jamel there. Somebody else got their exclusive. Oh, Ava DuVernay. Ava DuVernay had a little nugget of something, I think, at Disney.
Damn.
And that's not happening anymore.
Hate to see it.
I don't know. Maybe next time one of y'all get these jobs, how about we make some content?
You know who should get an exclusive deal?
Jamel at least was putting out podcasts, but I don't know if that was necessarily to the benefit of, well, at least me. I know it's probably some black women who were fond of what she had to say, but not usually the good guys. You know?
You know who should get an exclusive deal? Taylor Rooks.
That's a hell of a segue. Where'd that come from?
Taylor Rooks. Oh, it came from the fact that Josh Hart is doing an interview with her, and she's just top of the mind. She's top of the mind at all times. So
anyways,
rent free.
This is why Jaylen Brown went over there and said he was going to win 5 championships by the time he was 28, because this shit right here.
Yeah, he's going to have a hell of a time winning 5 rings in 1 year.
In 1 year. Jesus Christ. But yeah, man, her deal at Spotify is done. Even though she's claiming on Twitter still that she's never been fired from a job. I don't know how you work that. Do you work at Spotify?
Yeah, well.
Did you quit?
If it's a partnership, technically, I guess it's not a job.
Why do people do that? I'm in partnership with Spotify. You work for Spotify, fam. Spotify has a platform that podcasters use to put out their product. You are a podcaster at Spotify.
Yeah, no, but I don't punch a clock every day, so, it's different.
Does your podcast air on other platforms? Does Spotify cash your checks? Can Spotify decide to stop airing your podcast at any given moment of time? Okay, you have a boss, and it's Spotify. Why we gotta do that? Why do we have to do that? Yes, they pay you an unholy amount of money. Yes, they're giving you some level of creative control over the thing that you came in with.
It seems Congrats. Like there's not equal equity.
Yeah. What's the 50-50. Symbiosis between you two?
It's not 50-50.
What are they giving up out of the deal?
Cash,
right? That they give to employees. Anyways, moving on from Miss Jamel Hill. I have to give an L out to the star of the Across the Spider-Verse film, Mr. Shameik Moore.
Oh, damn.
So, one brother, Dr. Umar, had some very poignant things to say about the Across the Spider-Verse movie. I always think it's funny where he decides to pop out. I know you're not just sitting around watching Marvel content. Like,
no, he saw the trailer specifically.
I was about to say, he had to have just seen a black boy and a white girl's face flash by, you know,
I think he admittedly in those comments said he saw the trailer. He didn't know that much about what was going on, but he saw the trailer.
Like, that shit flashed across the screen and that nigga ran into the room like, I beg your pardon.
I beg your pardon. I beg your pardon.
I beg your pardon.
Lord have mercy.
But he raised a point that's good in a general stance that I feel like he kind of bloviates a little bit. But the fact that when we do have, and we talked about this with Little Mermaid, when we do get our black characters onto screen in prominent roles or in leading roles, it's very rare that they have the strong family black units or they have strong black relationships even. Right? Like, it's much more common that they would kind of, at least seemingly, soften the blow to the perceived white audience with a mixed relationship or having a white parent or something like that. You know what I mean? And so basically at the gist of what Dr. Umar was asserting, which the basis of his argument is never really the problem. It's all the extra shit. But was that, why is it so hard to show a black relationship for a black character? A black love interest for a black character. Like, why is that out of the, and then when you ask for it, why is it divisive to ask for that? Why is it a bad thing to ask for that? And I think Shameik's response at the Breakfast Club, where they asked him about it, kind of encapsulates what Dr. Umar was getting at. It was like immediate defense, even from a black man. Mm-hmm. Right? It was immediate defense over the assertion that, like, somehow it was wrong to have him with a white girl or anything like that. I don't think it was necessarily the relationship with the white girl that was the big problem. It was why couldn't it be a black woman that is his love interest or a black girl? Mm-hmm. And essentially asserting that, why is that the part that's divisive? Asking for a strong black relationship to be represented from a black character, why is that a bad thing to ask for? And so then he gets defensive and he starts talking about this, well, you know, that's not love, and that's not, yo, fam, it's not love to ask for showing two black people loving each other. That's not love. What are you defending right now? What do you think you're standing up for right now?
I don't. That's not even a real response.
Why is the suggestion of black love divisive? Somebody got to break that down for me. Somebody has to explain that to me. Why is the suggestion that maybe the one of the only available black characters to show a black relationship between two black characters whose love stands the test of time, like Peter and MJ, or Jane and Thor, Betty and Steve, Gamora and Star-Lord. You know what I'm saying? Like, why exactly is it so hard to have that for Miles with someone who also shares his cultural, ethnic background, racial background? You know, I mean, it would have even been something maybe if the girl was Latina. I think that would have went a further way to matching up what probably would be most likely for Miles. Not to say that that's
for sure
what has to be or what would end up being in a real life. Again, we're talking about fictional storytelling, which can be directed to be whatever it is you deem to be important, and that's the difference here. I'm separating this from the argument of having interracial relationships in real life, because we're not having the same argument here. One of those things is left up to choices and circumstance. Another thing is what you choose to make it look like. It just ain't that many characters with the opportunity to show black relationships that way and that light. And so you expect it, or you would want it to come from a popular character like Miles. And that's where the question arose. And so the immediate defense and saying that it's divisive or that it's not love if it's not that, then I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
Not that it matters as much or even furthers the conversation all that much. But being that he admittedly didn't know much about the history before seeing the trailer, obviously, I wonder if he knew Miles's ethnic background.
No, hell no. No. Just like he knew the bare bones information about Black Panther when he started going off. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I'm saying. It's very interesting when he chooses to comment and what he chooses to comment on and where he thinks he can fill a space. Because again, just like in his Black Panther summation, there was some stuff missing.
Yeah, get some
and
contextual...
some opportunities for him actually to do some good and provide something to a conversation if he was actually plugged into those situations,
you know,
beyond the surface level.
Yeah.
Beyond the, our king is being replaced with a woman. Miles is bunny hopping. It's like very superficial shit that he chooses to latch onto.
And being that, despite being a meme, because of that, he does have a huge platform.
Yeah.
So, like, you should do something good with it. Because we know you're not taking the donations and putting them to use at the moment. So,
yeah, again, not saying that Miles can't be with Gwen, not saying that it did anything to the movie to deter it. I gave it a 9. So, you know, relationships be damned. It was still a good movie. I'm just saying, given what we have to represent black relationships in film and television media, and the opportunity that is given with a character like Miles, the question is worth asking.
Yeah, no,
it's worth asking. And an automatic attitude or dismissal to you know, that suggestion is very telling. So
I would agree.
Boy, oh boy, these brothers don't stop.
The Island Boys?
No.
The Epstein Island Boys?
Nah, but close. Very close. Very close. Fresh and fit. Fresh and fit, man.
I didn't know if we were going to talk about this, but...
Fam. I mean, again, kind of like the Charlemagne thing last week. Not surprised.
At all.
I can't even call it disappointing because I didn't have any level of expectation or connection to these individuals. It kind of is what it is.
And you can't really be surprised because they showed you this before.
I mean, they've been telling us they was anti-black, fam. They had an anti-black man on there. Bonquisha. Shaniqua Bonquisha.
I hate them.
Dude. So, Myron has been having a mental breakdown over Abba and Preach, which I thought that whole thing was over.
I did too.
Like, I thought we were well beyond.
We are better than you niggas. Period.
Well, not anymore, fam. Probably not ever, but definitely not now. Definitely not now. I expect Homeboy to be deplatformed very soon.
Yeah.
Because he went so far beyond trolling. Mm-hmm. He went so... It wasn't a response. Like no reasonable man with their frame would call that a response. It was a pussy fit. It was a...
Are we talking about the first thing they did, or
I'm
the second
talking
thing?
About the whole thing, because
okay.
it happened within a matter of days, right? So
yeah.
Because
I would say, well, no, I was gonna say one was decidedly worse, but even then, no, I can't even.
There was a tirade. It was a spoiled rant.
Yeah.
Of a segment. It started off with some of the we are better than you niggas energy for sure. Mm-hmm. I don't even understand what it is he was mad about at this later date. Because most of the shit he was talking about had happened like months earlier. I don't even get it. Apparently Myron was mad that Abba went to his house and they shared a good conversation, and then Abba went on to continue to critique him in the way that he had done prior to him going on the show. I don't know if you thought him coming to your house was going to get him to stop covering you. What are we talking about here? So yeah, but that's nowhere near the worst thing. So that leads into him. Man, what did he do?
He went into a 30-minute monkey tirade about Preach.
Yes, that's what it was. Yeah. He put on the braided wig, starts calling him a monkey. There's another dude on the podcast with him talking about the warrior gene, right? Just a lot of racist tropes for blacks and Africans and things like that. Saying that he can't control his urges and blah 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 blah. Monkey. I mean, over and over.
Which is a crazy way to try to get out of the fight that he invited you to, that you still have yet to actually respond to.
We'll never will.
No, I know.
Never will.
I know.
But just like, I mean, like hardcore race, and to the point where, like, I think he realizes that there wasn't really a point to where he was going. So now what he has to do is, he has to say that he never really cared about the game before. He gotta come back and be like, oh, and I know it's racist, so it's cool. Yeah. They're gonna call me racist. I don't give a fuck. This is my response. This is what I'm gonna do. So your response to them critiquing things you've said, things you've done, and even defending you at certain points. When the chick called you a racist, they defended you. They literally defended you. What? Like, what are we even doing? What are we doing?
Don't know.
But since he's continued to criticize you for the clearly hypocritical shit that you've done and gone through, the sugar baby stuff, like, did that stuff not happen?
All of it happened.
What are we talking
in 4K.
So yeah, it was monkey, right? And then that was on his stream.
Mm-hmm.
Then he goes over to Sneeko shit,
which is not on YouTube.
Yeah, on Rumble. And that's when he can really do what he wants to do. Instead of monkey, we're going full Hardy R with a Klan hat on, with a hood on.
Mm-hmm.
Hey man, listen to me. If you're black and you still follow them, start calling yourself Ruckus or Clayton, change your name legally, leave your card at the door, and unsubscribe from all of the cookout invites. Okay, just go ahead and fuck with them, man.
And Back of the Bus channel.
Go fuck with that man. Go fuck with that man. There's nothing to defend anymore, y'all. There's no financial advice in the world I would put up with this shit for. He doesn't like black people at all. He doesn't like. He less than dislikes them. He devalues them. He dehumanizes them. He thinks you to be less than human. He thinks your women to be disgusting, and he thinks your men to be violent.
Yep.
He thinks lesser of you. The fact that there is another black man there standing there is to cover up his anti-black racism. Because if he didn't do it with what is he, Fit or Fresh? The
Fresh is the black one.
Okay, if Fresh wasn't sitting there, this would just be some Arab guy going on racist anti-black tirades, and he would have been kicked off of YouTube a long time ago.
Agreed.
He would have been kicked off a long time ago. But since Homeboy is willing there to sit there and take racism and listen to it and mostly agree with it a lot of the times, he acts as a shield. He doesn't provide anything else to the show. He doesn't provide the insight. He doesn't have the quips. He's not quick on his feet. He doesn't even speak particularly well. Literally only there to act as a shield for the people that would say you're a racist running a racist platform. He remains racially ambiguous.
Absolutely.
While remaining anti-black. So people don't know that the shit that he's saying is decidedly anti-black. Because it's like, oh, it's a black guy saying it. It's like the Hodge twins. He's a Hodge twin. He's a closeted Hodge twin. Only he's not, and he gets to totally go full head force, call us a hard ER, and wear a Klan helmet because, well, he's not actually black. He's not black.
Yeah.
Just dark.
Yep.
Just overly melanated.
Mm-hmm.
Not using sunscreen.
Yeah, no, that's what he is.
So your response to being critiqued is I'm going to be a racist?
I don't know how that makes sense at all.
Fam, I would hate to see what your response is to a woman. Like, if you had to diss a woman over the internet, I would hate to see what it looks like.
He kicks them out.
No. But see, that's the in person.
Oh,
see,
okay.
if there was like a woman personality dragging him through the mud for his obvious improprieties.
He doesn't do anything. He sits there shook. Brittany Renner.
Oh, yeah. Forgot about that one.
He was fucking shook.
Now, if Brittany Renner continued to talk shit about him after the fact and cause him to lose subscribers like Abba and Preach did, then he would probably, dressed up as a rapist?
Probably.
Because that's fucking hilarious, right? It's hilarious. What is up with y'all? How does this man? How do you have a Well, I know he has a platform because other races follow him.
Yeah, and he avoids doing too much of it on his own channel, so he goes to like Sneakos and.
No, really he did the first half of it on their channel, so like YouTube.
But I guess in the terms of how YouTube would probably view it, it was definitely that portion of it was worse.
Y'all shut down a video of us 3 years ago because I said burn down the Target. You know. It's a little bit worse than burn down the Target, don't you think?
Yeah. No, I agree.
A little bit worse. So I wanted to talk about a concept that is not necessarily foreign to me, but one that I just recently started thinking about a little bit more. Shout out to Summy Michonne. He had a YouTube short where he was kind of discussing this topic, and it got me thinking a little bit. So with the rise of TikTok, right? The rise of the short form video with the voiceovers has become very popular, right? Very algorithm pleasing. I guess since it's a relatively new media form, the parameters are still kind of being set. So I'm coming into this as a conversation, not so much as accusing or trying to, label anyone, but just kind of have a conversation around this. How do we feel about certain influencers or TikTok influencers and stuff like that using not only black voices, because I think that's a little creepy, but also using certain language in their videos and their voiceovers to match the dialect of a black person, or even going as far as using the N-word, but it's a white person in the video?
Yeah, this is actually a discussion that's been going around a while, because I know there were like at least one, but I think there are maybe multiple white gay guys who were going around basically talking like black women.
Yikes.
Ew, look how cute this is. Ew. Now, anybody who knows me knows I love me some Cardi B, okay? Okay. So, right, I'm trying out the Cardi B and Offset meal. Okay. Now, this is a couple's meal, but bitch, I can eat foot too, so don't worry. Could I please get the Cardi B and Offset meal then, please? Ew.
That's interesting. That's not where I got it from. But where I was seeing it is, okay, so the song, but my ex, you can keep that nigga. But my ex, you can keep that nigga. So, you know what song I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's getting kind of cringy to me because all of the videos I'm seeing now are of white women with black dudes. Which...
And the dudes will be in there sometimes. Yeah, you know what I mean? That's...
Like, okay, so run me through the logistics here. Is he the nigga you can keep? Or did you leave a nigga and get him so that they can keep that other nigga? Like, which one of these niggas are yours, Becky? Which one do you have so we can keep the other one? You know?
Yes.
Because that's literally what you're saying.
Yes.
It may not be your intent. It may not be, and again, I ain't calling nobody out. I'm asking questions here.
And to
it
that
just
point,
feels nasty to me.
There's a lot of interracial couples
doing that shit
that involve themselves with a black man that do like hardcore racist shit in the TikTok, and the dude's just seemingly okay.
Remember this is my new model. I just bought him. He comes with this, that, and the third. We need to upgrade to an engagement model. I don't know what's going on there. Kiki. It's like showing your black boyfriend off in the slave auction.
Yes.
And the thing that's like really that's kind of sending me over is that now it's trending. So on some level, I know you see it and you know exactly what it is that's selling and you plan to it. Mm-hmm. So it gets harder and harder to play coy and say, oh, I didn't understand or I was ignorant when you're noticing the same trend and you're recreating it.
They'll still go to that once they need to. Once somebody says they're offended to that person and they need to apologize, they'll go back to that.
Sure. But again, it's hard for me to believe it now because just like I'm noticing the trend, I know you are because I'm seeing more and more of those videos.
And you're using it to skyrocket the algorithm.
Mm-hmm. Not to mention that it's theft.
Yeah. Oh, well.
You're just stealing.
Theft happens all over TikTok.
Like okay, cool. So every time, if we use some artist's music or something like that on one of our videos, we'll get a copyright strike, or we're trying to show a trailer. Like, first of all, Warner Brothers, okay, see how many more of your trailers that we review. Because I'll be damned if we're trying to do a live reaction of a trailer and you copyright strike us. Like, okay, screw you and your movie. But in any case, so that happens. But then somehow, if well, not somehow, it's because it's not copywritten, it's not protected. But that doesn't mean that the platforms that these things are created on shouldn't protect them, just because it's not legally protected. Mm-hmm. But they create these viral moments or these viral voiceovers or these viral memes, and then it's a free-for-all for everybody to use their voice and their likeness to make money for themselves. That's literally theft. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, without crediting either. It's one thing to do a voice dub or a stitch and you got somebody's watermark in the video or you got their name. You know what I'm saying? That's something different. But taking someone's voice or their likeness and then trying to pass it off as your own creation, at least. And like most of them are at least off enough to know that it's a voiceover. But like you're passing it off as your own creation, your own work, which is trash. And it happens to the black content creators more than it happens to anybody else.
Yeah. Or like when all those white TikTok dancers got to go to the NBA All-Star game or whatever.
For a dance that some black girls created.
I was just thinking about that earlier today. I was like, damn, that was fucked up. But they at least ended up bringing that girl out like the next day or whatever. But still fucking trash. Garbage. But yeah, it just goes to show you how theft happens quite a bit in TikTok, and unfortunately, it's the black creators that get screwed because of it.
Yeah, that's another reason why we're not on TikTok. But anyways, that's another story for another day. Okay, so last one I got is a toss-up. I wanted to talk about the Travis Rudolph story a little bit. So Travis Rudolph is a former NFL wide receiver. He is in the middle of a murder trial. Long story short, Travis had a girlfriend who was married at the time, by the way. Let's just throw that in there. Had a girlfriend at the time that caught him in the middle of speaking to other females. In lieu of that, leaves the house, sends a text to her brother telling him to shoot Travis's house up, to shoot his shit up, in exact words. Her brother then arrives to Travis's house with 3 other dudes. 2 of them have guns. They try to drag Travis out of the house. They're beating up Travis's brother out in front of the house. Travis gets back inside the house, gets to his AR-15, starts shooting at all 4 of them, right? Even to the point of them driving away. He fires 39 shots. One of them ends up dead. The other one is critically injured. The other 2 survive.
So I'm assuming because they were driving off, it's now being considered murder?
Murder. And he shot 39 times. Now, without owning one, I what common knowledge I have as an AR, I don't think, like, you can go through 39 rounds pretty quickly with a gun like that.
I would assume.
But then even still, like, you can kind of see the security footage of it. And I mean, they're well down the street driving away. I mean, they're pretty far down the way. But I mean, I think this also happened in Florida.
Well, no.
I think this happened in Florida.
Again, if they're leaving, that's not still stand your ground, is it?
I don't think so. But boy, it's okay. If there's a place where you can kind of wiggle around the self-defense, murder gray area better than most places, I'd say it's Florida. He wasn't the one breaking in. He wasn't the aggressor. You have the text message from old girls basically setting up the hit.
There's more of them than there is him.
There's 4 of them. They were armed.
They were in a car, so they could have easily
spun the block when I'm trying to run back into the house. Like there's a bunch of stuff around this.
Yeah.
Right? And then again, to be in Florida, you definitely in a state that I don't know for black men, but at least want to bolster the idea of defending yourself with extreme prejudice.
Yes. So
he's not in a bad state to get off from this, but I wanted to talk about it a little bit just because of. I mean, there's a lot of factors into this. There's the relationship between the two of them in the first place. Like, it's a married woman. What are you even pressing him about what he's doing outside of your relationship? Yeah. You're married.
Yeah. I forgot about that.
There's ring footage of her assaulting him at some point around all of this. There's ring footage of the brothers rolling up to the house. You can see one of the dudes gripping. He kind of looking through the windows and stuff. Like, it's like all of this shit is menacing. And then you add to the fact of the matter that his brother was being jumped. It's like, yo, they gonna have to do a lot. This is not a great case for the prosecution, I feel like.
Yeah.
This is not their ideal case. Then again, it is a black man in the South. Violence versus a woman, I'm sure, will be played up by the prosecution. I don't know how this is going to play off. I wish the best for Travis Rudolph, though, because I would hate to ever be in a situation where I had to defend myself and my family and then got blamed for it. You know? Yeah. At the end of the day, them people showed up to his house to do him harm. We know for a fact they showed up there to do him harm. They had guns. There was 4 of them. They were ordering him to come outside. They attacked one of my family members. She sent a text asking them to shoot my shit up. There should be no confusion left as to what they came here to do. I stopped them. I changed the complexion of the situation. Yeah. That's my opinion. Not a lawyer, but that's
crazy. Yeah, because, I mean, if I'm in that situation, man, at any point they can come back. I'm trying to end this situation.
Like, I'm trying to end it. Yeah. I'm not trying to get them to flee so I can get to safety. That could mean death for me.
Yeah. Yep.
I am trying to immobilize the threat at that point if I'm firing. I'm not thinking about making them flee. I'm thinking about making sure they're no longer a danger to me. Yeah. And the only way that I'm certain that they're not a danger to me no more is that they're not moving.
And just because they are driving away from me at this current moment,
they're going to continue that path.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a sticky situation.
Yeah, I don't know. But that's it.
I had nothing but L's going into this thing, and just out of sheer wanting to have something that's technically positive, even though this situation is not positive whatsoever, I decided to change it to a dub because I can see the positivity in it. So, not too long ago, Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp had an argument amongst each other.
I forgot about this.
And shout out to Flimlo Raps for reminding me specifically of this situation, or a couple of situations that go into this, where obviously they were talking about Tom Brady. Skip Bayless starts basically saying that Shannon Sharp is not on the same level of Tom Brady, despite being a Hall of Fame tight end with a ring. Yeah, starts going on this tirade, basically personally attacking his co-host, which was really weird. And so, a lot of people think that's the impetus for Shannon Sharp, who is probably not going to renew his contract on the show. It's probably going to go on to do other things like his podcast, Club Shay Shay, which seems to be increasing in popularity. And so I guess in this case, I was going to give an L to Skip Bayless. But I think at this point, I'm going to give a dub to Shannon Sharp because he has at least leveraged his time on that show and his other properties to put himself in a very nice position to move forward.
I think he'll be back on TV somewhere. I think he'll be doing his own thing on TV soon. But I think, like as you said, Club Shay Shay was sort of like an audition. Like, okay, I can be the color guy or I can lead or I can be the lead host. Like I can prove that I can be a lead host. I can lead an interview. I can keep a conversation going, being the lead guy and not just the color guy.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole thing with Skip, I think that conversation, I think Shannon knew after that it was pretty much gonna be done.
Yeah.
That wasn't gonna last, and it's unfortunate, man, because I felt like Undisputed, what they had at Undisputed was so much better than what was going on at First Take for me.
Yeah.
I felt like the conversations, by and large, Shannon still had his moments, and we all know what Skip is, but by and large, they had the more sound arguments. I think that they had the more grounded conversations.
I would agree.
I like the guests that they brought in more often than what was going on at First Take. I just felt like it was a superior sports talk show.
I would agree with
So
that.
whatever was going on at ESPN at the time. So it's unfortunate to see it end, but I am happy for Shannon Sharp. I wouldn't want anybody to remain in a working relationship somewhere where they're being disrespected.
You know?
And at the end of the day, whether or not it was for sensationalism, whether it was to spice up the show,
Get ratings
whatever,
and stuff like that.
I think he crossed the line. I think he went too far, and I think he knew it immediately. But that's not. I don't think Shannon Sharp is the type of guy that you're going to walk that back with.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
like you went into, like, you got really personal for no reason, really. Like, we're having a debate at work. Bam, like, this is literally work for us. This is not like this is not us having some heated debate about something that we wanted to talk about. We're at work.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell are you? What? Especially being Skip Bayless, a guy who's had to really cut his teeth and survive in sports media for this long, being that he had no real athletic career ever.
Yeah. Yep.
Nothing substantial. JV, senior year of high school, like nothing substantial whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
So being that you were that guy and you've made it to where you're at to have a somewhat respected reputation in the business,
Mm-hmm.
where do you get off trying to devalue an NFL Hall of Famer? Even if it is to a great player like Tom Brady, even if it is to who you deem to be the GOAT of football, who are you
Yeah.
to diminish Shannon Sharp on behalf of Tom Brady?
Agreed.
Like, that's not that. I didn't like that, and I've never really been a Skip hater. I realize where he's gone overboard, where he's doing things just being hyperbolic.
Mm-hmm.
I think the biggest thing that happened with Skip and Shannon, and it probably all came to a head in that conversation, is that I think when he got Shannon on it Undisputed, he expected Shannon to be able to match him in the flair, but Shannon was a football guy.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, well, I've got more basketball experience, I've got more golf experience, I've got more baseball experience, like I've been doing this longer than Shannon. So on the numbers, the X's and O's, the actual real sports stuff, I'll be able to keep my own. Like, even in my later years here, I'll be able to hold my own. And maybe Shannon, out theatrics me every now and again, but I'll still have the sports purist.
Yeah.
That didn't end up being the case. Shannon Sharp is as knowledgeable in the X's and O's and the particulars of the sports as he is in the sensationalism of it all.
And it's come to a point where he's probably just as respected.
He's just as good. And I don't think Skip expected that.
Yeah.
And so in a moment of frustration dealing with this with Shannon Sharp, he let it boil over and it went too far.
Which Skip is that guy.
Yeah.
Skip is definitely that guy.
Unfortunately, man, I've taken up a lot for Skip Bayless and his takes over the time. I think he's literally the only guy that won't. He hasn't gotten off the idea that LeBron's free throw shooting has kept him from being an elite scorer. I won't ever get off of it either. His lack of commitment to the post. Not that he doesn't have a post game, but the fact that he didn't start his post work 8 or 9 years ago was a detriment. And these are all things that I've heard Skip Bayless say that I agree with. You can't tell me you're an elite scorer and you can't shoot free throws. The only person that's ever been true for is Shaquille O'Neal, and LeBron's not Shaq. Any other elite scorer, you show me who's not a free throw shooter. Elite. Not good, not had a string of good years that he put together, but was an elite scorer, greatest of all time. Yeah, Shaquille O'Neal's the only one. And Shannon has consistently gone and raked LeBron over the coals for his shooting, be that free throw, 3-point shooting, lack of taking mid-range jumpers at certain points in his career. Like, I felt like all that shit was accurate. Now, he's also had some pretty hyperbolic LeBron James takes that have kept him in the zeitgeist in the media, but I just always felt like the guy told the truth, or at least he told his truth. He told what he thought to be true, and maybe that hasn't changed. He's lost a step.
Yeah,
I would
agree with that. All right, moving on to my L's. My first L is going to people who, at this present point in time, can't discern when something is AI and when something is not. Oof. Now, this doesn't work for everything, because there are certain, like, pictures, for example, with no context, you might just be able to believe that it's a real thing. What I'm specifically referring to is things that are super outlandish, that are clearly either some sort of parody. And I'll give you the perfect example on what I'm referring to in this L. There is a AI generated Pixar movie poster for the fake movie Wallace, centered around Biggie, with him in this like little Pixar getup. Fam, there's no way in hell Pixar is making a Biggie movie. Captions: is this real? No. No, it's not real. Yo, no way in hell.
When in the fuck? Okay, so when would the story take place? Like just K through 5, or we're going all the way into the rap career?
Fam, they literally couldn't go into the rap career. That would be crazy.
A big animated movie from Disney is nuts.
Absolutely nuts. But people keep showing this little, I don't have it right now, I'll show you, but it'll be in the video. They keep showing this little image around. Is this real? Stop. And if this is tripping you up, there's no hope for you when AI really gets good.
Oh, yeah. No.
Yikes. All right. My next L. So, we talked a couple weeks ago. This might have been about 2 or 3 weeks ago now, about a story that was pretty out there. Robert De Niro at the age of 79 having a child.
Okay.
You want to hear a story that's worse?
Okay. I don't want to, but you're going to tell me anyway.
I am. A friend of his,
Jesus,
Al Pacino, is 82 years old.
No.
And is having a child.
No.
With his 29-year-old girlfriend.
Gross. Gross. But she hit the jackpot, boy. Oh, she hit the jackpot.
That's true.
She's
That's true.
Up forever.
That is true.
What's your job? Sitting on my ass. Had a baby by Al Pacino when he was 82.
Ooh, 82.
Oh my God.
I don't know
how. Y'all got some potent batter, boy. 82?
Celebrities got some resources that just normal people just don't have.
That poor baby gonna come out eating cashews, reading the comics in the newspaper. Not comic books. The comics in the newspaper.
Yo.
That baby gonna come out with a jar of Geritol and some orthotics.
Fam, 82.
Baby gonna come out requesting Metamucil, please. No breast milk.
Yo, that is nuts. I don't know what's worse, him having a child at this age or the age discrepancy between him and his girlfriend.
I mean, you're Al Pacino.
He was
you can get
53 when she was born. Oh.
He was your grandpa when you was born. like when you was born, he was already grandpa. No, but she hit the jackpot.
She
though,
did.
Josh. Like
she
she's
did.
Up.
Agreed.
She took a chance on an 82-year-old man and said, "I'm gonna just bide my time."
She said, "Fuck that Nick Cannon money."
I want
straight to Al Pacino.
I'm on that Alpo, baby. Yo, that I don't. What are you? Like Al? What are you gonna do with these kids? You're not gonna raise him. You're not getting up in the middle of the night to take care of this baby. Or maybe he wants to at 82. No, you're not. You know, and I really don't like to talk about death in this way. Mm-hmm. But when you're 82, like what is his prom going to be like? What is his high school graduation, his college graduation, when he gets his license? You know, like you're 82, Al. Like, come on, man.
His mother and his stepfather.
It's just enjoying your cash. Enjoying your cash. Like you literally set this woman up to have a family after you, and to enjoy your money with. And if he actually cares about her, and you know, maybe he really like her, and he was like, you know what? Here's a gift. Make sure you set for the rest of your life.
Damn, that's a hell of a gift.
That's a hell of a gift, right? But you really need to love somebody to do that.
Yeah.
Because you got to know, right? Like, okay, you're 30, not even 30 yet. You're 29. I'm 82. Chances are you'll be walking this child down the aisle if it's a girl. So, why? Like, my thing for having children is to watch them grow, is to experience their life with them. Mm-hmm. I don't want to be an afterthought. I don't want to be a checkbook for my wife and her new husband. But that's me. That's me.
Yeah, no, your memory of your father will be like how our memories are of our grandparents.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Crazy.
Oh, well.
Daddy ain't going to be able to throw a baseball with you, teach you how to drive a bike. Your dad's not even going to be able to teach you how to drive.
Your father's not going to be there for any of that at all, which is nuts.
Well, he'll be here for the baseball stuff. He just won't be able to do it.
Will he? Yeah, I'm not throwing anything on that man, but
6 years. He'll be around. He'll be present. 82 having a kid is crazy.
Agreed. Moving on to my next L. This is an extremely sad L, but it prompted a discussion that maybe we won't get into in depth here, but is a discussion that probably should be had at some level. Jackie O, who has done things like, I think she's a model. I think she probably has some other businesses and things like that. But she is also, I believe, the wife of DC Young Fly. Has lost her life. Yeah. And, well, she is the wife of DC Young Fly, and also I think had 3 kids with him. Lost her life, unfortunately passed, and it's from what I'm seeing, it was due to complications of plastic surgery. Yeah, rough, extremely sad, extremely tragic. Obviously, we wish the best for DC Young Fly and both families involved with that situation. I could not imagine the discussion that it prompts, at least, you know, after all the sadness and things like that I thought of is, you know, we lost Kanye's mom similarly. Mm-hmm. And I just feel like at some level, a lot of black women put these high expectations on what beauty is. And, you know, a lot of them do things like go get plastic surgery. You know, the BBL craze is a huge thing, yada, yada, yada. And you don't really think about it because, you know, we talk about BBLs and we talk about all the different plastic surgeries, but they are really going through a lot to try to reach these expectations of what they believe beauty is. Mm-hmm. And, you know, and in a lot of cases, a lot of these black women are beautiful as is.
And you know what? It's real interesting because I feel like for our community, I can't speak for anybody else's, but at least here, it's a bit of a mind fuck because you're chasing your own shape. You're chasing your own figure. Mm-hmm. You really, if you take a step back and just look at it at a micro level, the beauty standards that everybody's chasing now is black women. Big mm-hmm. lips, bigger noses, wider hips, bigger butts, thicker thighs. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, we're not talking about taking dieting pills to lose weight anymore, or some people are, I guess. But now we're talking about injecting fat into certain parts of our body to be looking more voluptuous. Mm-hmm. Right? We're not trying to get smaller anymore. We trying to drink protein shakes. We're doing glute workouts and shit like that to get bigger, to add girth, to add wideness. Mm-hmm. That is of your lineage, your ancestors.
Yeah.
They're chasing you. You are the standard. You don't have to chase. You already have it. You are it. Mm-hmm. They're chasing you. They want to be you, your imperfect self. Mm-hmm. The cottage cheese, cellulite, the stretch marks, all of it is what they want. They wish they had it.
Yeah.
Because then they get these fake bodies and it don't look like yours. So they go back underneath the knife and they keep doing it and they keep doing it. And no disrespect to DC on us. We've moved, at least I'm moving past that. RIP to her.
Yeah.
I'm saying they keep going back under the knife and they get other stuff done and they do their face and their tits and their butt and all this other stuff. And now it's so pervasive because women control the fashion and the beauty standards everywhere. Essentially, black women specifically.
Yeah.
Now it's done gotten so bad, y'all got these men doing cosmetic surgeries, toupee installs, heightening surgeries. Yeah. Niggas are getting kneecap surgeries, fam. What is happening?
Yeah, it's nuts.
Like never in life, fam, is it that serious?
Some of them are doing it to still be short. I seen one was like 5'3", got extended to 5'6",
5'9" or something like 5'6".
Crazy like that. I was like, all right.
Like, yeah, dog, you might as well go all the way. Like, if I'm gonna get like some kneecap augmentation shit, I'm gonna be 7 feet tall.
7 feet tall.
Stack about 4-5.
I get it. I mean, if you're spending that much to do it,
stack about 4-5 of them in there. I don't care how long I gotta be bedridden. When I get out, I'm going to the league.
Man wants to be Wembanyama so bad.
I'm going to the league. I'm gonna teach myself how to windmill. I'm going to an NBA tryout.
Yo, that's crazy.
I'm gonna live my dream, fam. You gonna spend what $75,000-$80,000 on a knee extension or a femur extension, whatever the surgery is, right? You better go try to act, become a model, start singing. You better do something. Don't tell me that you got knee implants to get taller and go sit at the bar, fam. Oh my God,
that $75,000 to $80,000 should be an investment.
Jesus Christ. So rather than touching some grass and talking to women, you gonna get your kneecaps implanted or extended or wherever else they're doing it to talk to women?
And just that.
No, because here's the craziest thing, dog. You gonna do that to get the women, change nothing else about your personality, waste all that money and get no women. And get none.
Yeah.
Newsflash, tall guys with zero personality get zero women.
That's a fact. You did all that to not work on anything else.
Anything. It's like getting a BBL to find a husband. Excuse me?
Yeah.
Excuse me?
Wild. But, in this case, she did have a husband and 3 kids. Hate to make this sad again, but
don't chase your own beauty standards, ladies. You're already there. They're chasing you.
100%.
You are the beauty standard.
100%. And if we would obviously, like I said, well wishes to their family, and especially in the case of somebody who's typically looked at to be like the funny guy. I know sometimes things like that can hit harder for them.
Sure.
Because then they don't have that reciprocation for people who make them feel better. So just, well wishes and prayers goes out to that family for sure. Last thing I wanted to discuss was actually a toss up. And it was brought to me by yet another video that I saw on Twitter. I got to get off of Twitter, yo. Got to touch some grass. Anyway, it was a video of Boogie Cousins down in Puerto Rico dominating, killing, absolutely destroying, and doing the thing that he was able to do in the NBA, but obviously probably not to the same level because of the injuries. And that prompted a discussion in my head, at least, of how there are a lot of NBA players who get injured to some extent and they're not able to still then play to the same effect that they were before in the NBA specifically. Guys like him, guys like John Wall, to some extent Ben Simmons, I'm sure. But then I thought about Lonzo, who's going through apparently what he's going through.
It ain't so, bro.
And I think I just, I think that leads to some sort of depression immediately while in the NBA. But then, they have other options, but they're never quite the NBA. I mean, what's all these other countries are aspiring to then get into the NBA. So
Lance is like that. Dwight balling in Japan or China.
And it's just like at some level, you are a former NBA star who is balling against what is like high school varsity players at that level for you.
Some leagues, there are other leagues where the basketball is a little bit more competitive, but yeah, it's not NBA competition level.
Yeah. And so I have to assume that at some level that is also maybe not depressing, but I'm sure you think, oh yeah, I'm doing great. And then at some level you also have to realize, yeah, I'm also not in the NBA.
I think at that point, if you're not playing at all, like if you can't get on a roster, playing and dominating feels a lot better than not doing anything and sitting there.
That's fair.
I don't think that come down moment comes until maybe you have to play a higher level of competition and see where you're at relative to where you used to be.
Yeah.
But man, a guy like Boogie Cousins, who's been fighting to stay in the league over the last 3 or 4 years, going to Puerto Rico and dominating, that's gotta feel pretty good for him, I'd imagine.
Yeah. And I don't think you really think about it, but there's so many players that have faced this, even if they are still in the NBA. But, there's so many players just as a whole that have seen some sort of decrease in productivity after being injured. Like I mentioned a couple, but then there's IT, there's Derrick Rose. There's so many people, and they've all mentioned some sort of mental health issues after the fact just because of, just not being able to play to that same standard. Yeah. And it's just it's crazy to think about. The one person that stuck out to me, though, is Paul George. How he was able to sustain the injury like how he did, and yet still at least be
early, though. Paul George got hurt in his first 4 years in the league.
That's fair.
He got hurt
That's true.
very early.
That's true.
And was able to kind of curb it and come back. Now it was a bad injury though. It was a really bad injury.
Yeah,
it was like one of them Gordon Hayward type injuries.
Mm-hmm.
But it happened early enough for him to adjust his game. I think early on, PG was much more of a above the rim kind of player.
Yeah.
He was a very athletic slasher, could get to the rim.
Yep.
And he's kind of formed his game, in the back eight, more so towards the mid-range shooting.
Mm-hmm.
His shooting has gotten significantly better. If he was shooting how he shoot today in them series against LeBron in the Heat when he was in Indiana, them series would have went a little bit differently.
Yeah.
He couldn't shoot like that back then.
That's a fact. But he could drive.
Yeah, for sure.
And then I think obviously to that point, at some level, your mental takes a toll because you feel like you can't play that way. Even if you can, you feel like you can't because you want to mitigate the chances that injury happens again.
You're trying to protect yourself. You're trying not to get hurt again.
Which is, I don't know. I thought of all of that by seeing Boogie dominate in Puerto Rico. Because it's like they're still that player at some level, even if they can't do that in the NBA anymore. Or even if they're not given that shot in the NBA to do that anymore. And I say all that to say that if Lonzo is going through what the Chicago Bulls thinks he's going through, I hope he finds a way around that.
Sure.
That's all
I'll play flat basketball somewhere else, if not the NBA. But I just don't know if I believe he'll never play in the NBA thing again. Too good of a player, man. I'd hate to see that happen.
Yeah, I agree. Any other thoughts?
Any other dubs, man? Give us your thoughts on our dubs and nails. Give us your dubs and nails in the comments below. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Come back next Wednesday for another dubs and nails segment.
Absolutely. And make sure you check out our previous dubs and nails where we discussed Scottie Pippen going from LeBron to Michael Jordan and back and forth. Yikes.
LeBron is not having sex with my wife. so LeBron is the best player ever.
Gross. Make sure you check that out, and make sure you check out our playlist full of W's and L's where we discuss previous weeks and see what we talked about in those. And obviously make sure you subscribe because we like to do this every Wednesday at 10 o'clock.